How you doing? Hey, yeah.
Now you're the competition committee. What have you seen as far as the replay and expanding?
Just going through the process right now and getting all the information, taking information in from all the different subcommittees, and then revisit those once we get to Arizona for the owners' meetings and put it together there. So really just kind of taking information at this point in time.
John, Phillip Lindsay was such a great surprise last year. Do you think he can hold up to this size, and how much do you think that you might want to get Royce Freeman going?
We feel really good about both of them. I think they're both a good combination and a change of pace and the size difference that we have. And so we're really, we're excited about the years that they had. And, we have big plans for Phillip as well as Royce, and to get them both involved in the passing game as well as the running game. So, I think that Phillip proved this year that he can run between the tackles, which he did very, very well. But yeah, we think he's durable enough to play.
John, you have some decisions to come up contract-wise with Emmanuel and Derek. There'll be some options. What is the plan for those two right now?
It's to exercise both of those.
And why so? What is it about them that you want to?
Well, they're good football players, and so that's why we plan on exercising. And it's different situations, but we're planning on exercising both those.
You didn't get to see a lot until late in the season, but how pleased were you with the development of Deshaun Hamilton for the Suns?
They both got better, and I think that the greatest thing for them is the fact that they got a lot of playing time late because of the injuries we did have, and so, we have high expectations for them that they're going to make that jump from the first year to their second year. Obviously, they still have a long way to go, but we were excited about the first year they had and the workers, and really think the sky's the limit for both of them.
Hey, John, what would you make of Chris Harris here, and would you like to extend him this offseason?
That has not been thought about just yet. We'll see where things go. We're going to get through this first wave and see what we can do in free agency, and then after that, we'll look at different options. But that has not been thought of yet.
John, do you think people have been too quick to write off this year's quarterback class in the draft?
Well, we're still in the process of studying them, so we'll keep looking at them. I think that obviously there's a lot of people that are excited about next year's class, but we're going to spend the time on this year's class and see where we come out on that. But I think there's some good players in this draft too.
Do you think it's too dangerous? Do you think it's a danger getting too caught up in perceived weaknesses of the guy as you evaluate?
I don't know. I think you look at positives and negatives and everything you do. So I think that obviously we don't look at the negatives. I think there's a lot of negatives come out in the press, and so therefore, for me, we try to accentuate the positives. We are, but we'll have to see where Matt falls. Obviously, we've told him that we'd like to have him back, but obviously he's coming off a pretty significant injury. And so we have to evaluate that process. Matt's been a great warrior for us for the 4 years, but obviously the injury that he did have changes the thought process, and so we'll have to see where that falls.
John, what do you expect Case Keenum to?
We don't know yet. I told Case when I talked to him, the different options and that we were going to work with him and give him time to think about it. And so we'll circle back with Case and see where he is and go from there.
John, you hear some NFL types talk about the importance of building a team that matches up with the strengths and weaknesses of the divisional foes. That said, you've got the MVP division in Mahomes. So as a team builder, as a roster builder, how do you weigh building up a defense to match them versus building up an offense that can go toe-to-toe with them too?
Well, I think we try to look at our strengths and our weaknesses and build the best football team we can for the Broncos. Obviously, they're in our division and, have a very good football team. And Patrick had a tremendous year last year, and it's going to be someone that we're going to have to deal with for a long, long time. But, the bottom line is we're going to try to do what's best for the Denver Broncos. And always, as usual, our first goal is to win the division, and that's going to go through Kansas City. I don't know exactly what they're doing. I haven't followed that closely to it. I know that we always look at everything everybody is doing and try to get the best situation for the NFL. But I don't know exactly what you're talking about. But those are all type things, whether it be the Canadian League or the new league, college football, and so trying to look at all the different things that everybody's doing and get the best scenario for us in the NFL.
John, with their rookie seasons in the books, what was your impressions of Cortland Sutton and Deshaun Hamilton?
Did you just show up? That's okay. He did. They both had great years. They really did. We're excited about them both, and I think that this year will be great for them experience-wise because of the amount of time that they got to play, and so that's just going to help them into the jump to the second year. We feel like they both just scratched the surface, and so have high expectations for both of them.
John, you referenced next year's quarterback class in particular. You scouted some quarterbacks in that class. When Justin Herbert elected to return to college, how did that impact your decision on how to address the quarterback position for the 2019 season and how you try to go formulating?
We'll still evaluate the same way we always evaluate, whether Justin's there or not. Obviously, he's a great football player, decided to go back in, and so we'll just go through our evaluation of the class and the people that are coming out and go from there.
With a guy like Munchak as a line coach, are you more involved in the pre-draft evaluations and also free agency?
Well, they've always been. The coaches are always involved, and so we've always collaborated with the coaches, and they're always heavily involved with it as well as the personnel side. So we all work together. Obviously Mike's got a great reputation, has been around a long time, and done a heck of a job. So, we're going to collaborate just like we have in the past, and the coaches are going to have, a lot of involvement when it comes down to the evaluation.
Where does it stand at quarterback, aside from Chris Harris? What do you like with that position? Would you see that as a possible area in this draft? What do you like with this class?
We think there's some cornerbacks in the draft. We think it's a rather deep class, and so, that's an option, but there's also an option in free agency too. So, obviously we know with Chris coming back that, we got a solid number one. We just got to, find some depth there and find it too.
As a member of the competition committee, just how do you feel about the possibility of expanding replay or changing the officiating procedures?
We're in the process of collecting all the information. Obviously, I think what we'd like to do is we'd like to not have the play that happened in the New Orleans play. So we're doing everything we can to try to eliminate those type plays. Now, whether that's through an additional official or if it's done through replay, we're still exploring all the different options.
John, do you think Kyler Murray's style will impact his ability to be successful at the next level?
He's a great athlete, and has had a great career. The 1 year he played at Oklahoma was great there, and it shows he's a great athlete. Obviously the size is always a question, but we've seen guys that have been at, guys that have had success in the league that are not necessarily the prototypes as far as when it comes to height. So, he's got the ability to be a great player.
Now, when you look at a quarterback who might be shorter, what would you sort of be closest to studying that is going to tell you if you can sort of overcome?
I will say this, having played the position, when you're shorter and you're in shotgun, it doesn't have nearly the effect because you see much better out of shotgun. So if you're in shotgun and you're starting in shotgun and that's the only place you've ever been, you can see the field much better from shotgun. So really the height in shotgun doesn't matter nearly as much as it does if you're coming out from underneath the center all the time, because by the time you get back there, the pocket a lot of times caving on you. So that's where height does matter a little bit more. But if you're playing in shotgun every down like a lot of these guys, then the height to me does not have nearly the impact that it normally would if you're coming out from underneath.
Do you have to change your offense in order to be fully shotgun if you have a short quarterback?
What do you think? What the question I just gave you? Yeah. So, I think that has an impact on it because, like I said, coming out from underneath the center is, it's tougher to see coming out. And so when shotgun puts you back there, you can see a lot more. Those guys are popping up, and they're a lot farther away from you, so they don't block your view nearly as much being in shotgun. So I think that's one of the answers. And so, yeah.
Why do you like your quarterback under center?
I think it helps the running game. I think you can only do so much in shotgun in the running game. And I think being underneath the center, if you want to run the football and have balance, I think you got to be able to be underneath the center, because when it comes down to the running game, that's where it helps you. So that's why, to me, it's important. If you want to have balance, you got to be able to go underneath the center too.
In that regard, how does the line shake out with, we talked about Paradis, but right tackle, is that up in the air still with Jared? And what about with
all those are still, we still have some guys. We're looking to Billy Turner and trying to get something done with Billy Turner as well as Jared. And so those are all what we're going through right now, is solving those issues and see where we're going to end up in the offensive line. But Ron Leary's coming back. He'll be coming off the Achilles, but he is coming back. So with Paradis being hurt, so those are all the scenarios that we're going through right now.
So you are interested in bringing Jared back?
Yeah, we'll look at that. Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I'd love to bring all our guys back, but there's only so much we can do. And so that's why until you get to the mark and see where everything is, that's when everything becomes realistic, because we can talk about it and evaluate and say what we'd like right now, but until we see what's out there and what's involved, it's hard to be concrete with which direction.
How important is addressing the tight end position this offseason for you?
It's always, we've been trying to address that for every year. I mean, that's a tough position now, and so I think especially when you're talking about an inline guy that as a blocker, but also can be a good pass receiver. And we don't have a lot of inline guys coming out of college like we used to because of what they're doing in college ball and opening things up, and there are more receivers coming out of college. And so it's much more difficult finding the inline tight ends than it's ever been.
John, you played high-level baseball all through university. A lot of these young guys are doing that. Did it help you as a thrower of football, and if so, how? Playing baseball.
I don't think it helped me as a thrower. It's a different motion. So throwing a baseball and throwing a football is two different things. I think if anything, what I like about guys that do multiple sports is the fact that it shows me they're great competitors and they want to be good at what they do and they like to compete, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, that, the competitive side and the athleticism that they have to be successful in both, is a big thing.
Got time for two more questions. Two more.
How disappointing was it that Gary could not stay with you?
Well, I mean, Gary and I have been together a long, long time. And, I got a great deal of respect for Gary and always will have, and we'll always be great friends. But it was just a situation that didn't work out between us. And so, wish him the best up in Minnesota. I'm sure they'll have a lot of success up there. But I'm happy also with the way that everything fell for us, too.
Last question, please. Last question.
Are there qualities you admire in a veteran system for a specific type of quarterback?
What's that now?
In terms of adjusting a system for a specific type of quarterback, teams also hire coaches and offensive coordinators based on what their talent. What's that line between wanting that coach or coordinator to succeed, but also seeing a talent that you have to adjust to as well?
Well, I think the most important thing is a guy that's executing the system that you're putting in. So I think, to me, that's the most important thing. So it has a lot to do with fitting what your quarterback can do and what he can do the best. And so I think that's a big part of it. That's what makes a great football coach, too, is to be able to have his system, but also within that system, find out what those players, not only the quarterback, but all the players and what they do the best, and be able to do that and get that executed by the players.
Thank you, John.
All right.
Appreciate it.
You got it.